How you doing, Ignacio?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Good. Ignacio, where are you? Are you in Spain at the moment?
Yeah, I'm in Madrid now.
Okay, okay, beautiful city.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to years ago, for about 2 years in the early noughties, I used to live down there with the Catalans in Barcelona.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah,
I used to go there every 20 days a month because I have some business there in Girona.
oh yeah, I know it. Yeah, near the airport. Yeah.
Well, no,
Um,
Girona is next to France. So it's on the border with France. It's the next province that you find there on top of Barcelona.
that's right. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there are also Catalan on the French side of that border too, right?
Yes, there are. In fact,
Hmm.
they are in a place where I had some encounters. Yes.
Oh wow. Okay. So that's something we definitely have to get into in that case. I heard about you actually because I recently befriended Rui Caratao from Portugal,
Yes.
and he interviewed you, and it was it was a really remarkable interview. But I'd had a previous interest in Wildman in Spain from looking into the Basajon or
Yes. In
Basajon
Basque Country. Yes.
in the Basque country,
Mhm.
and I thought that perhaps that was the only legend in Spain, but apparently not. There are many more. Can you tell us something about that?
Yes, there are. Uh, as much as I know, there are many legends. In fact, you can find different names of the same creature in different local languages. For example, in Catalan, in
Mm,
Basque, in Galician or Gallego, where I'm from.
hmm
Even I came to know recently also about some other guy that is in Cadiz, which is in the south of
hmm
Spain, and he found different structures there as well and signs and not very common signs in the nature too. And
And
from this South Spain signs is the first evidence that we find recently too. So we didn't have any news about wild men or whatever creature in the south of Spain.
oh, well, so that's a very new discovery. So previously to that, would the legends be primarily focused on the north of Spain, on Galicia, Asturias, the Basque Country, etc., places like that?
Yes. What was the question? Sorry.
If the legends, you said you've recently found legends in
Yeah,
Cadiz or
I cannot. I
sightings.
can. I cannot tell you much about the legends
Uh-huh.
because I came to know about these kind of things not far from in time. So I'm not really into the legends in Spain, but I'm into the encounters that I had in the nature in Ireland.
Uh-huh.
I must say also not encounters but strange feelings as well in England, where I was living the last 9 years between Spain, Ireland, and England. So yeah, I'm not really into the legends. I'm into the facts or into the recent encounters. So
Okay.
I just can tell you that these things have names in many languages, local languages in Spain also, not only Castilian or Spanish, but as I was telling you, Basque, Catalan, Galician, and yeah, local languages.
And
So that
what
that's something.
similarities have you found in your experiences? Have you had experiences in Spain as well as England and Ireland?
Yeah, the first one started when I didn't know anything about these things. Started in Ireland, where I found different signs in a place called Erica's Magic Forest.
Hmm
Not exactly there, but way up into a lake north direction. There are several lakes that are intertwined
Mm.
there. And this is the first time when I got into 500 meters out of the lake on the left side, and I found very strange structures there that for me were not made by my men at
hmm
all because the trunks were huge. And there were even structures on top of the trees. So I found that quite strange.
Yeah.
So this was the first time. It was, if I remember correctly, somewhere around 2018. And yeah, that was my first encounter with these structures.
And what was it? What happened after that encounter that started to make you think that there could be something non-human living there in Ireland?
Yes, when I found this thing, exactly at that moment, before finding anything, let's say I was in the first 400 meters in out of the trail, because usually to give some context to people that might listen, I'm very fond of nature, and in 2020 I founded my own school of natural activities. So whenever I was having free time, I was doing some trails or fishing or mushroom hunting or just going into the nature, but in a different way that usually people go, because I go to know more, to see what kind of ecosystems, how do they work, and so on, and which kind of animals, plants, and wildlife you can find. So this was one of the first times that, as I told you, in the first 400 meters out of the trail, I started to feel a bit different as usual. So I found myself like kind of confused. First, I felt uneasy. I felt eerie. I felt not in the right place. Let's call it this way. And yeah,
Uninvited, perhaps.
Uninvited, absolutely.
Yeah.
Uninvited is a very good word. And then I just the next 100 meters, I found these structures that I told you, and then it was not a lot of time, because I didn't spend much time there. When I found this, I could see, apart from the teepees that I found, 3 of them, 2 very big and 1 less big or smaller, but the smaller was for a basketball player. So imagine the first 2. So I was looking at these structures. Then on the top of on the canopy, I could find these signs that I told you, that were like trunks as allocated, forming a circle, all of them parting from the base. Not all of them were base constructed, but some of them were the top of the tree, and the other ones, some of the other ones were parting from the same base, but with the base of the trunk. So they were all of them connected, forming a circle, and there were a couple of them. So I could also see this. This is a thing that I didn't tell to Rui. I saw. Imagine that you create a fire. So there was a sign in the soil, in the floor of the the grass. There was a big circle of fire, but a big one. Again, everything was big. That wasn't a normal fire, If people make fire, maybe it's a meter maximum length of the circle, but this was maybe 2 meters. So I didn't understand it. There were no stones rounding the circle of fire as well, which usually humans put these stones for security. And this was none rocks or anything. So it was very strange again. And this was again my first encounter with the unknown. And then I came back to the boat that I hired for doing this fishing and nature trip. And I rushed because I felt very uninvited, and just rushed and crossed to the other side of the lake, where I could breathe, where I was able to breathe and recover the control of myself.
Sure.
Now, and then I started to investigate internationally about finding these kind of things in the nature. So then it was the time when I found the possible Bigfoot, or now I know there are even some other creatures there, like cryptids, many different ones worldwide. So in Spain, I'm very new to this, but I found some other things in the in the next forthcoming months or years up to now. Yes.
Well, that's often how the journey goes as well. And I really appreciate you sharing that, because similarly to myself, one aspect of this mystery has attracted me. And once you get into it a little bit more, you find so many other aspects of it that you can also investigate. The Wildman thing is very interesting because I think from my perspective, first realizing that there was a Wildman legend in Britain and Ireland, but not only was it here, but it was also in Europe and represented in carvings on churches and on tapestries and other things with the Green Men and Woodwoes and Bassahoan and other similarly named creatures around Europe. I started to wonder if there were different types of Wildmen. Was there a Bigfoot type and more of a man-like type that we have? Have you looked into that aspect of things at all?
Yes, I came to know recently as well that for example, in Basque Country, you have the Bassahound, which is kind of a wild beast similar to Bigfoot. Some differences, but quite similar to Bigfoot. And this this creature is associated with knowledge and benevolent. It's a benevolent entity that usually is in the forest, and he was helping the agriculture, the
shepherds,
the tools for the man to progress. This is one side. For example, in the Catalonian side, I came to know recently as well that there are 2 or 3 different type of cryptids. One is called Nonel de la Neu. The other one is called Simiot, and there is a third class which is something similar to the Bassahound. So the first 2 are not related with benevolent things. In fact, I came to know that they are evil. So there are even scripts on the cathedrals and small churches and so on. And they appear eating children.
Goodness. Yeah. Wow.
And I came to know as well that in Catalonia there have been recent sightings of these creatures in 1984, in 1992, in 1996, and some other recent years.
Yeah.
And they even appeared the testimonials in the local newspapers. So yes, there are things out there.
Well, it makes perfect sense to me because Europe is a continent, and if there were such species living in one part of the continent, why couldn't they, like bears and other animals, move into other parts? There are apart from the mountains, there are no natural barriers. Not like Britain, where there was a sea that once wasn't there, but now is. And I just think it's fascinating, really, because the Bigfoot genre is very Amerocentric. It's very focused in America.
Sorry for the noise.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I don't mind. I've done these all over the place, Ignacio, even in parks and next to rivers, and it just adds to it. It's okay.
I wish I could be there, but unfortunately the Wi-Fi signal is better here. So
no, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. I don't mind a bit of background noise, ambience. It's fine. It's okay.
Perfect.
But yeah, and it's amazing to me that Europe, France as well, and especially when you go further east, Romania to Ukraine to the Caucasus and all these different places, the Almaty then comes in. But it seems to be a similar type of creature to the one we have reported in Britain and Ireland and France and Spain and Portugal and so on. And it's a wonder to me that we don't have such a big public focus on it, because there are modern day sightings. Why do you think that the Americans have made such a big thing of it and we haven't as Europeans? Because we have modern sightings too.
That's a very great question. By the way, we might have even more tradition on these things than them in the recent centuries. For example, in France, I don't know if you know now about there is even a movie about this. It's called Jovadan, the monster of Jovadan, that supposedly was a beast, wolf-like, killing more than 50-something people. This is as much as they know. This is not a legend, by the way. This is you can read about this.
It's historical.
Happening.
Yeah.
It's historical. It's in the 18th century, and the king Louis XIII, I think it was bringing people from the military, from US, from many parts of the world, of course, paying them a huge amount of money to kill this beast. And they were killing all the wolves because they thought in the beginning that it was a wolf. But for the kind of killings and the arms were in one side, it was not eating them even. It was just killing them in a nasty way. And I don't know. I mean, it was more than, if I'm correct, 60 or 70 years of this beast killing people from 30 square kilometers radius. So this is very recent, and we don't have the same kind of stories based on reality in the US in those centuries.
That's true.
So why I think in the US they have made this massive thing, I think there are two main reasons. First one, Americans usually are kind of very out of the trail guys and women.
Yeah.
Meaning they have not that fear as we might have from these things or nature. Second, they are like the Italians. They are the guys that sells it all. Like they make business of everything.
Yes.
They find the right opportunity to make business. So I think
everything has merchandise. It's amazing. It's really strange. Yeah.
And I like that, they are kind of entrepreneurial. Also,
I've tried to learn from them as well, but it's
But they respect a lot nature. I think they are very cautious about nature and about taking care of maintaining the places as much as wild as possible. Plus, they have, of course, a huge variety of beasts, animals like pumas, like mountain lions, bears. Well, definitely big links. So I mean, they have much wildlife than us. Bears in different colors. So this is one of the three main reasons why I feel the Americans have made something like more normal. First, second, more accessible to people because there are many podcasts and YouTube guys doing this work. And they do it in a respectful way, I think, apart from a couple of usually nasty guys that you find everywhere. I think they are doing a good research and they are doing good interviews and bringing testimonials and knowledge for all of us.
I agree. And they always do things very professionally. I really respect them. I mean, there's something, you've lived in England and from the British mentality, your passion shouldn't pay. If you're passionate about it, there shouldn't be a charge, right?
Yes.
Or you shouldn't be making money
European,
from it.
I think.
Yeah,
yes,
it's European.
This is very European.
Because if you care about this so much, finding the animals, proving they're real, why should you be making any money? Whereas the Americans think about it as, for me to continue doing this work, I must make some money.
Yes, investment.
And they merchandise the thing in a way, or they bring people in a very attractive way. A very attractive way, without shame. And there's always a little support our work there. And I've never had the guts ever in all of my years of doing this to put a donate here button on anything.
But do it.
Yes,
feel encouraged to do it because, of course, wherever you put the energy, why not? I mean, money today is the only currency we have. Well, there are many others, but the main one, we have to value someone's time, energy, and passion. So why not? I mean, you can even write this sentence: value my time, energy, and passion, and please help me and support so we can have quality time and videos about these things,
Yeah, I'll credit you for the sentence. Ignacio Gallo Campos.
I'm very American in this sense.
No, well, I agree with it. And My wife was saying to me for a long time, there's things that should be free. So I think the podcast was that should be free. I can run ads on the podcast. If it's popular, that will pay. If it's not, then that will be the testament to its popularity. That's fine. I have books, that's fine. But for expeditions and things, I've always just saved and put them in there. And I've always seen lots of donate here for my expedition to this place and that place and the other place. And the British side of me says, no, don't do that. Because once you pay for my passion in the UK anyway onto your webpage there, people will say, well, forget this guy, And anyway, it's different. I think that's a weird cultural thing. It's culturally different, and it's a European thing perhaps as well. We're not allowed to. It's almost boastful in a way, It's a strange thing. Talking about your background, as a guide into excursions and wildlife and things like this, what was it about these first structures that you saw that made you feel that they were non-human? So, I mean, you're obviously very comfortable in the forest and you've probably been in parts of Europe that have wild animals like bears as well. So you're aware, you're comfortable. Ireland doesn't have any big animals like that. And suddenly you cross the river, you feel eerie before you see the structures, or you see the structures and then you get the feeling. How did it transpire?
So the first thing, it was the lake. I jumped from the boat to get myself into the forest to explore a new part of the forest. And 100 meters before arriving to the real place, I felt already uneasy. So I didn't know why. I didn't know, the reason. And once I got there, it was multiplied by 100. And then by 1,000 when I started to see these structures. Why I recognized it, they were not made by men. It was because of the size of the trunks that were making this teepee, this camping site. And they were not really perfectly allocated as humans usually do.
Like bushcrafting and things like
nothing
that.
Like that. No strings, nothing.
Okay.
They were just, perfect. I mean, making perfect place to get a structure there. Second thing was the signs, the structures that I saw on the canopy of the trees, 2 of them. Impossible for the men to make that because the tree tops were probably 25 meters high.
Okay.
And the size of the trunks that were allocated up on top, forming this round circle, were massive as well.
Wow.
So I just thought, okay, this make no sense. The only thing that could make these things could be huge animals, huge creatures, huge entities.
With thumbs, no less. Yeah.
Or extraterrestrials.
What do you think about? Did you talk to any Irish people about this experience and sightings? Because there's lots of fairy legends in Ireland, and often they have various structures and dolmens that they attribute to fairy activity, and I wonder if that's their way of explaining away.
I just talked about this with my wife at that moment.
Okay.
Just talked about this with my wife at that moment.
Wow.
Nobody else. I didn't say to anybody.
And how about the response to your interest in this phenomena since? Because once the phenomena takes hold of you, at least from my perspective, this happened to me. People who know you in a different world, in a different from a different perspective, say, "Hey, is Ignacio having some midlife crisis, a mental breakdown here? Suddenly he loves Bigfoot and cryptids, and he's out there searching." Well, what kind of reaction have you received?
Now that I know more, that happened to me more things recently, even in Spain, and I came to study a lot about these things. Most of the people I'm talking with, usually friends or sometimes relatives that are there in a conversation, I just bring this up. I'm not afraid of bringing this up to as many people as I can, because I think knowledge doesn't occupy. I mean, you have to always incorporate new knowledge. This is my way of thought. And look, after all the things that happen in my life, if you tell me that 2 days ago you were in in the field and you saw Godzilla walking there, the only thing that I can tell to you is I cannot think you are lying or you are making this up. I'm going to consider what you are saying. I will do my investigation myself, and I will think that that's an interesting topic to get more knowledge about. But this is my point of view and feel. It's not the usual way of feeling, or you know, I'm not the typical person at this moment of time and space. So, but when I bring this up to my friends, relatives, or mom or family, they just think I'm crazy, or I'm crazy, or not making this up, because I'm not a person that makes up things. But they think my head went away, something.
Okay, like they believe that you've got involved in a strange obsession almost.
Yes, I don't care at all, at all. Really.
What about, because you had that one experience in Ireland, that first experience in Ireland, and you've had other experiences since there and here, and also in French Catalonia, did you say? Or can you tell us about those? Because I think,
I will tell you the chronology of things. First, Ireland. After the first sighting that I had encountered there, I came to the same place alone again 15 days after.
Wow.
And there were still the structures. Two of them were kind of put down in a disordered way. Like some trunks were there, here, big trunks. The small one was still there, and the canopy thing were still there. And I was less time than the first time.
Oh, really?
I just came to see it, felt still not very good. Came back and jumped on the boat, and still again run from the place.
Did you go back, do you think, to try to prove to yourself what you'd experienced the first time, or to disprove it, and then the uninvited feeling came back straight away when you were like, okay, it was real, I'm getting out of here?
I came to see that if it wasn't a dream what I saw. Yes.
And then what was the next incident after that?
Next incident, nothing happened. Apart from nothing happened in Ireland, I must tell you that I had different, let's say 3 or 4 times that I usually went alone in the nature, and I had still 3, 4 more times of just feeling uneasy in places, specific places, but not seeing very strange things like this one. Then I received an offer of work in Spain, in Girona, which is in the border with France. And then this was 2019. So I came there. The first thing that I told to my wife when we were ex-wife now, we were entering into the Girona place, province, was very strange. I told her, I'm feeling right now in the car, traveling. I'm feeling right now like time and space have changed for me. And now I'm feeling like I'm here and somewhere else at the same time.
Okay.
Something strange that I felt.
Like a displacement. Almost like watching a movie, or it's different to that?
Like I had the feeling like I was there driving and in somewhere else at the same time.
Okay.
I cannot explain it.
Strange, yeah.
Then I got into work, blah blah blah, and maybe 11 months passed. Let's say before the pandemic. I would say no. I can recall it perfectly. It was November 2019. Yes. So I did a survival course in the nature, and a week after that, I went to mushroom hunting with my dog. I had like a couple of hours of light, so I went to a place that I really know well, which is 15 minutes from the city center in Girona. Girona is a city that is surrounded with wild nature, even very close. But I went further into the nature, into a very small woodland that I really know well, like the palm of my hand. So I went very quick because again, the sunset was coming soon. So I went to places that I know really well that there are mushrooms already. So I went there, bam. I am starting looking, searching for them. I'm not finding many, which I found strange at that point. And then my dog started pulling to me to the opposite direction of the car. So I came from doing a survival course in the nature, 3 days with an expert, and I already knew about orientation. And that day, my dog was pulling the opposite side where I thought the car was. So I started pulling my dog to the other side, to the opposite. And at some point I got scared and I got very confused about where I was and why my dog was pulling the opposite side that I thought. So then I started saying, okay, I'm going to pay attention to what my dog is telling me to do. And then I followed him and he took me to the car, which was very, very, very strange. Then we were in the car and there was let's say 10 meters from the car, there was a place that usually always mushrooms there hidden. So I went there for quickly. And then I was planning to go to another site where I could find very quick mushrooms for the dinner. So when I was going to these 10 meters from the car, I saw from my left side view a very big shadow going from a place in a bush to a big trunk. And I saw it like, boom. So I turned my head and I felt again this, the hair on the back of my head standing up. So I felt first that someone was there, something was there. I looked and there was a big shadow, maybe 2 meters high, moving into the tree trunk. So I took my dog and I started running to the car and we left from there. Because this place is very isolated. You have to do like 8 kilometers in a dirty road.
Oh, okay. It's sort of in the hills around Girona?
Yes.
I think I've been there.
It's next to Casa de la Selva.
Yeah, I think I've been there. If it's the one I'm thinking of.
And yes, and then, so I got in the car and I rushed out of there. And we went to another place which is called Los Angels, which means the angels. And it's another hills that are behind Girona, 10 minutes from the city again. And I went to a place that you just park the car. There's no one there as well. And you find several mushrooms very next to the road. So we went to another trail and we were walking there. It was getting dark, but still light. And then both my dog and myself, my dog never stops when he is walking in the woods, never. He's pulling me all the time. And he stopped, let's say 203 meters into the trail. He stopped completely and started looking up. So I said, okay, I got surprised and I was rushing. And I looked up again with him to see what he was looking at. And at the same time, maybe 1 second after, we heard from the trees which were not very high, we heard like on our back, something like this.
Gosh.
Okay, something like that.
What could that be?
I don't know. And I didn't even try to investigate what was that because
like a huff, almost.
Yeah, like someone exhaling on the back of my neck from the top of the tree.
Wow.
So then I just took the dog and we went back to the car and no mushrooms that day. So this was before the pandemic, okay? And this was my first experience in Girona with these things, strange. So the pandemic came, I didn't go to the nature much. Then I founded this school of natural activities. I quit the job and everything. And it was all of these experiences, 2018, 2019, and now 2022, are all of them in November.
Wow.
All of them, okay? Ireland, first time Girona, and second time Girona. So the second time in Girona happened very recently in November 2022. And I went to this place, which is in the border with France and Girona. I went to a place that I was with a friend of mine 15 days ago. And we went for mushroom hunting. We found loads of mushrooms. It was one of the best days in our lives for mushroom hunting. for the variety of the species, for the quality of the mushrooms, for everything, and the beauty of the scenery. And I knew this place from several years ago, like 2 years ago, but went there maybe 10 times. So I knew the place well. So again, we usually go out of the trail. It's a very nasty place for a common Urbanian people. It's not made for not prepared people, because it's very hilly and mountainous.
It's a tough hike.
Tough terrain, yes.
Yeah.
So 15 days after that, that day that was magical for mushrooms. There are like 2-3 points that we usually stop. Okay. One is, let's say, 900 meters height. The second one is 1,000, and the next one is 1,200 meters. So we stop in the second place, let's say 100 meters height more. And this place is very intricate to get, because you have to pass through a fence, like this kind of fence.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay. But you have to pass through a hole that is even hidden with a bush. Okay. So you pass through a hole like this, and bushes there. So, and also there is another fence 2 meters high from this, similar to this, separating kind of a land that must be private or something, but we have never seen anyone there. But it's a massive.
It's just owned. Somebody's owning it, but it's obviously very big.
It's a massive fence, and we could never pass to the other side because of this fence. And that time, the same happened. We couldn't pass. We were examining what was on the other side of the fence, but we wanted just to explore, but it's impossible. So on the left side of this fence, 500 meters into another clear in the middle of the forest, we found between 500 and 600 pumpkins, perfectly forming a circle.
Pumpkins?
And that place, pumpkins, big pumpkins. Yes. Very strange. We have never seen something like that in that place, ever. And there are the curious thing about this is that this cannot be man-made, because there are no growing pumpkins in maybe 50 kilometers.
Okay, there's no farms anywhere. Nobody lives there.
Nobody lives there, because this is the middle of the wild nature with very intricate ground. It's impossible.
And that seems planned, essentially.
It was like put there, even forming piles. Like it was perfect circle. Maybe some 3-4 were out of the circle, but all of them were allocated there. I don't know by who or by what. And I found it very weird.
Strange.
I didn't feel anything that time, but I told my friend not to take any pumpkin, and he said, "No, my mom loves the pumpkins. He makes soup, and I'm going to take 2 of them." And I say, "Okay, I'm not taking any because I don't trust this." So he took a couple, and we left. We were very happy, and that's it. So 15 days after this, I went alone to the same 3 places. And just when I parked the car in this dirt trail road, which not many cars can go even there, so I just get out. I start getting off the trail. In the first 100 meters, I start to find crossed
sticks,
not sticks, even
like big tree trunks.
Yes, tree trunks. Crossing, forming very difficult things on the ground, but many of them, and many trunks thrown on top of other trees, similar to what I saw in Ireland, smaller in the size.
Okay.
But was very weird again, because there were some birch trees which are maybe 10 kilometers or above on the height on the same road.
Oh, so they don't grow there.
They don't grow there.
They grow further up.
Yes, they don't grow there. No. And they were thrown on top of the canopies of other trees. Many, I'm telling you, many.
So almost like a big shelter built again in a way, or the teepee style structure.
Yeah, but they were smaller than Ireland, but they
Yeah.
were not. They were completely strange or weird
Wow.
to the place. So as I knew much more from these kind of things, then that time I telepathically uh, asked permission to the forest
Mhm.
to be there. Okay, and the strange thing was that I couldn't find any mushroom that day. So usually, if you go to the same place where there were mushrooms 15 days ago, and I was usually uh, calibrating the you know the rain per meter that it goes to
Yeah.
a specific area. So I know
Okay.
there should be many
Oh,
more
so
mushrooms.
yeah, so you understand how those edible mushrooms grow. We've had this
Yes,
much rain at this
yes.
elevation. There should be
So
mushrooms.
yes, of course, there should be
Okay.
many quality mushrooms, and there were none, or the
Wow.
ones that were there were completely spoiled, which was nonsense. So first thing, that was not very common or normal. Second, all the things that I'm telling you, I was seeing there, and then I asked permission to stay there for some time just to shoot some videos. Take into account that I had to do 1 hour and 10 minutes to go there from my place in Girona. So it was kind of a bad feeling, like, oh, I have made all these kilometers to enter in an uninvited place again.
Yeah.
But
And
it was fine.
where possibly the wild men have stolen all the mushrooms as well, well, eaten them. I guess they're their mushrooms if that's where they live.
Or even cursed the land. I don't know. But all of them were spoiled, or there were none.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you say spoiled, do you mean stepped on or smashed or just not?
No, like rotten.
Rot? Oh, okay.
Impossible for the level of rain that has
So
gone there.
Almost
per
as if
square
they've
meter.
been drowned in rain, but there hadn't been enough rain to justify that.
It was not normal. Again,
That's so weird.
I'm doing these studies for many years in the field, out of the field, researching.
So
And
exactly. So scientifically speaking, from an expert's point of view, you know exactly what should be there. Let me ask you another question about these strange, uninvited feelings you have and some of the confusion you described earlier. Have you heard of this? I'm sure you have this infrasound theory, that these creatures use infrasound to unnerve people, to drive them out of their area. People have, observed tigers doing this apparently to stun prey to stop them moving, to keep them where they are. I've also observed, obviously, crocodiles and elephants. We know they do it for other reasons. But do you know anything about that? Do you think that this infrasound could have been causing those feelings of warning and confusion that you experienced?
Of course, I believe this is totally something happening. And there has been some studies, even David Politis have done this research in one of his movies or documentaries. Yeah. They have recorded anomalies in the fields of energy and vibration, like neutrons, and the particles that are there after these things have appeared, or when they have been there in the recent times. So absolutely. And also, when I stopped, I was seeing all these things, feeling all these things. I took some videos, some pictures, and I just rushed from that place. But this time I was not feeling scared or very unnerved. I was feeling okay, with respect. So I moved to the next place, 500 meters up in the mountain, the second place where we found the pumpkins and where the big fence was. So very perpendicular to the where the pumpkins were found. This was the fence. The fence has been always perfect, as I told you. So the second time that I was there, in the exact point perpendicular to the pumpkins, which I didn't want to see even because I didn't want to, I just saw that the fence was, instead of like this, it was like this.
Oh, okay.
Like this.
Something heavy had bent it.
Something heavy has put the foot on top of the fence and just crushed it.
What kind of strength do you think that fence would be?
Perfectly crushed. What I'm saying perfectly crushed was exactly like a V, like this.
would it be a heavy duty fence like the one in the garden where you're sitting there, or something lighter?
Something like maybe 500 kilos or more has
Okay.
done this.
Wow. Okay. Any bear there? Are there any bear in
There were
Catalonia?
not anymore.
No.
No.
So I mean, what could that be? I mean, what monster imposter could it be? What known animal inhabits that area that could attain that weight? A deer? No.
No.
The red deer or any big deer there? No.
No, a deer cannot even just put the leg on top of the fence.
No,
Impossible.
that's true. Yeah.
No, impossible. Or even if they do it, they will just be stranded in the middle of the fence, not provoking any nothing.
It's amazing to me because a lot of people talk to me about this. People who have a passing interest in the genre, and they say, well, this is all make believe. It's all big boys' hobbies, going out in the woods and pretending to hear, the howls or see structures, and it's all interpretation. But time and time again, not only do I see things I can't explain, but I encounter witnesses that I believe wholeheartedly. And I'm very good at sniffing out a lie, or if there is a problem with the person that's making them imaginative. I'm very good at that over the years. And there are still, to my mind, even in this country, 5 or 6 witnesses who I believe wholeheartedly. I can't get their stories out of my mind. I know they are telling the truth. Have you taken reports like that as well from eyewitnesses?
No, I have never. I was not even interested in these fields at all. If I have had these encounters, it's by chance, absolutely. I think they found me instead of me looking for these things. I'm just interested in ecosystems, animals, plants, properties of interaction, medicinal properties of the plants to cure people and to stop buying pharmaceutical products they are killing us all the time. And I just want people to reconnect with nature. This is my personal interest. I have no interest in these things. So,
but from a scientific point of view, then you'd be a naturalist, I suppose.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
I am. But of course, if this is part of nature, or if it's part of ecosystem, or if it's part of another dimension that we don't even know, I need to know, because I'm taking people to nature. This is my job. So I want them to be secure. And I want them to feel okay, and to feel joy, and to feel happiness. I don't want them to feel scared or, running, because there is something there that can happen, so.
Well, no, I wholeheartedly, the thing that encourages me about you, Ignacio, really, is that you've come to this later in life, but not as a young person with interest. This is something has happened to you that's piqued your interest, and that's always very reassuring, because we can never unsee what we've seen. We can never unexperience what we've experienced, and that's always a reassuring truth, isn't it? A reassuring experience to have, especially when it comes to cryptids and things that, I always say it's a big ask when we ask people to believe such things could exist, because everybody believes that the natural order is fully discovered, even though we discover 10 to 20 to 100 new species every single year anyway. We believe that these rock stars of cryptozoology, let's put it that way, like Bigfoot, like Nessie,
we know nothing.
And you zoom in on Google Maps, and you think you know an area, but when you get your boots on the ground and go there, well, you realize just how untrodden even places in populated countries like Spain and England are. Most wild spaces,
France,
don't see a footstep, in France.
Yeah. There are many places unexplored. I'm telling you for a fact. So many times I'm discussing with friends that don't know much about nature and don't go many times there as well, or investigate or explore. And they say, no, everything is explored. People have gone everywhere, in Spain for sure, blah, 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 blah. And I'm telling them, look, guys, you don't have any clue about what you say, because first of all, you don't go there. And secondly, I have been in places that, nobody has passed there. I have recently done small documentaries in places very next to main roads that if you take, a dirt road and you just explore, nobody has put a foot there for a long time, like for a long time. So, yeah.
Why do you think we need that reassurance as people in the world need that reassurance that everything is being discovered
Because we
and
are
taken
scared.
care
We
of?
are scared. We are just scared of the unknown. That's it. That's it. We are scared of being alone. We are scared of being rejected. We are scared of living. In couple of words, we are scared of having a good life.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Yeah, that makes sense to me. We want to couch everything in and cover it with bubble wrap.
Yes,
sure that there's there's no danger.
If you just see the way of living today, makes no sense. So we have been 450 million years living in the middle of the nature in the open air, and for the last 200 years we have been deployed in between walls like bees. Like bees in a cell. But the bees at least go out every day. But every day we are changing things for the worse because we are remote work. I can stay at home, so you just don't leave this small piece of whatever ground made artificially.
Yeah, I'm in London and it's getting more and more like that. Madrid is the same, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yes. So I think this is just mining the natural will of us and the link between us and nature, which is the same thing. We are the same as nature, probably much less intelligent than nature because we have egoism, envy, luxury, all these kind of feelings that nature doesn't have because it's in full equilibrium. So, yeah, I don't know. So that's why I think people are afraid of everything that makes them think out a little bit out of their little boxes.
I agree with you. But I think for those of us who do get interested in similar subjects to this and exploration and adventure and the mystery and unraveling those mysteries of what could be yet to find, it's very exciting and it fills you with optimism.
Yes.
It fills you with optimism, and I feel that way. Even looking at you now, what I'm thinking about when I'm talking to people on this miniature podcast, I'm thinking, yes, there's more and more and more people every day doing this and looking for something outside, or at least wanting to hear about it and imagine those places. And I always use a line which is the age of exploration is not dead. We just lost interest.
Absolutely.
We just lost interest, and it's still there to find. Just before we finish up, Ignacio, can you just tell everybody where they can find you and how to get involved if they want to do that, or report a sighting or a story?
Yeah, they can find me in www.escueladeactividadesnaturales.com.
Awesome.
Escuela de Actividades Naturales, which means a school of natural activities in Spanish. So awesome. If they turn it into English or Spanish, they will find the exact words. And just a little note on this. When it was 2020 and I decided to quit the regular guy life with it, which was leading a team of people in an office and so on. I told to my ex-wife now, okay, I'm going to dedicate myself to this name. I told the name, as I told you now, and it's going to be called like this. But I'm afraid that this domain will be taken because it's .com, and there is 1 billion people speaking Spanish today. So I was so amazed that in 2020 July, it was free. I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, how can something which is called a School of Natural Activities in Spanish is not taken?
That says a lot. I mean, it really says a lot about society, right?
Oh my God.
It really does.
Oh my God.
It really does.
Just wanted to say that because it's very, very scary and sad.
Yeah. It's like searching for, if you searched for live free or love nature and found it was free, lovenature.com, you'd be like, oh my gosh, how is this free? How is it free?
it might be free. I'm telling you, it might be
Oh
free.
gosh, I hope not. Look, I really think though that since this whole pandemic, thing has happened and ended, that a lot of people actually have said, hang on a second, what have I been doing this whole time? Maybe there's more to life. Maybe I should be thinking more about my emotional and spiritual and natural well-being in the world instead of focusing on all of these bits and pieces that I can get with all the money and stack up in my house. And I'm noticing that. So I think that's a good thing. Maybe there
Yes.
could be some changes in store. Ignacio, thank you so much for coming on. I'll put all of your details in the description, and it's been wonderful speaking to you about the Wildman.
And the last thing that I didn't tell you is that the third point that I stopped in passing the border between Girona and France, already in France, I stop and saw out of the trail start seeing the same signs and trunks thrown all away there. And on the other side of a small river that was there, I started hearing footsteps.
Oh, this is important. Sorry.
Paralleling me. Okay.
Wow. Did you tell how many feet or 2-footed, 4-footed?
It could be 400 meters from me. 300 meters, because it was a small valley with a river in the middle.
Yes. No, I meant, could you tell if it was bipedal or quadrupedal?
Oh, no, it was absolutely bipedal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And big steps. Like I could hear the.
How long did that happen for?
At least 3 minutes. Because I started hearing those, and I said to my dog, "Ike, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
And then they went quiet. It went quiet, and then I slowly started to walk again, trying to hear, and again.
Wow.
For 200 meters, 3 minutes, I would say, and then I decided it was getting dark, and I was completely alone in that place. No signal, almost no battery even. I decided it was time to go back, but I was not scared this time.
Okay. I wonder if you're recognized, if you've been there a few times before.
I was tagged. I was tagged. Yes.
Yeah.
Like in Facebook when they tag you and they know who you are.
Yeah, that's what
I was for sure tagged.
that.
Yes.
And you're starting to get activity, because I even think when they, from the experiences that other people have relayed to me, I've never had my own experience, when they start to, even when you can hear their footsteps, it's intentional. They're not, because they're hiding themselves from you normally, so they're allowing you to now know you're being watched,
accepted,
or
maybe
ushered out. I don't know, accepted or watched cautiously, or whatever it is.
Yeah, but I was. If that time something was happening to me, I'm telling you, my intuition, in which I completely trust, was telling me it would have been a complete mistake.
Okay.
Or wrong, because I was feeling okay.
Okay.
I was not feeling drained or feeling nauseous or feeling scared or nothing. But of course, I was knowing what was happening, and I was aware of what was happening.
Very strange.
It never came back, but I will come back.
Yeah, gosh, I mean, it's a bucket list. I really want to get over to Spain, especially to the Basque Country again, or in the Pyrenees, of course. That aspect. There are so many wildman sightings there over the years, the Basque side and throughout, and right down to
in the place where I was. I came to know after that incident that there have been several sightings in the last 20 years.
Wow.
3 of them appeared in the local newspapers in the 20-kilometer radius.
What are they calling it in Catalonia?
I'm not telling you.
No, no, not the location. What is their name for the Wildman there? What were they
I'm going
referring
to type. Do we have a chat here? Because I'm going to type it in the chat. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, is it? Oh, you can't say because it sounds rude.
What? Sorry?
The name of the Wildman.
No, because if I will say it, but I'm going to type it also in the the chat for you to have exactly the name, because the name is in Catalan and it's not easy.
Oh, I'll get it. It's fine. Can't be worse than Basque, right?
It's worse than Basque.
Really?
Sometimes, yes.
Too many X's and T's. So Nonel de la Neu and Semiots.
Yes.
Semiots.
Nonel de la Neu and Semiots. And if you type that in Google, you will find the recent sightings that have been in the last 25 years in Catalonia in those areas exactly.
Wow. Okay.
So you will have the sites.
I got it now. I'm gonna look it up.
I promise when I asked for permission to stay in these woods exactly that I wouldn't reveal the sites.
No, I'm not asking you for the sites. That's fine.
No, but
in the Bigfooting community,
no,
that's fine. In the Bigfooting community, this is a very normal thing, actually, even with Bigfooters, because people don't want tons of people rushing down to the area and disturbing them. That's fine. But I wasn't asking for the sites, but the name, the local name.
Sorry.
Just the local name. Yeah. That's why. Yeah, that's why when you said I'm not telling you, I was like, why not?
No, it's
okay. No, that's fine. So I think we'll leave it there, but I'm going to put it on. We'll put it on for everybody watching or listening, with all the links to Ignacio's material and to his outdoor school and nature and wildlife tours as well, which is just great. Even if you're not going to see a Bigfoot or something, it's great to be out there. He really knows his stuff. Ignacio, thank you so much again for coming on and for sharing your awesome experiences. It's been amazing.
So thank you, Andrew, to ask me to tell this, and also, it's very nice that people come to know more things than the typical ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I've loved it. Awesome. Okay, take care, my friend.
Take care. Bye-bye.